Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Papa D's at the train in Fordsburg, Johannesburg, South Africa. Today I'm going to be preparing one of your favorite dishes. Wherever we go, Sheekh kebabs are always on our order list. So if we go to a restaurant, even if we're having it as a starter or a main course, but yes, Sheekh kebabs are a must. Now I found that a lot of the Sheekh kebabs I've had at various places are somehow overspiced, and eventually you don't get the taste of the meat coming through, but you just are overwhelmed by spices. Now today I'm going to give you a simple recipe for the Sheekh kebab. You need to use mince with a high fat content. Alright, I remember once doing a program, and there was a person in the audience and they said, oh, he made those kebabs, watch, they're gonna fall off. And that has always stayed with me, and I realized, because wherever you go, you'll find people are either adding bread, they're adding milk, they're adding all sorts of things in to make the kebab stick and not fall off. But the simplest thing is to do your mixture, and when it's done, just blend it. You need to, in the old days they actually did it in a pestle and mortar, but today we're fortunate with all the technology, you can put it in your food processor, right? So all you need to do is drop it in your food processor and blend it up. Now what I'm going to do here is show you all the spices that I'm putting in here. You'll notice they are quite simple ingredients, and what I'll put in here is a very important thing in kebabs is your garlic, then your salt. I'm going to use some coarse black pepper. You could also use some fine black pepper in it as well. And then your jeera powder or your cumin powder, a little bit of turmeric, and then coarse red chilies. And because I'm going to be blending this, I also add some green chili, which I'm just going to chop roughly, because the food processor will eventually chop it up completely. So I'm just cutting it into rings, and I'm going to add that into my mix. And with that, I'll add in some fresh coriander. Alright, so that should make up your kebab mix. But if you're near us, you could get our ready kebab mix. You'll notice the pliability of it, and also the spice mixture is perfect. The fat content is perfect. So for you to make a kebab will never be a problem again. So all you need to do is pop this into a food processor and wait till the consistency comes to about that. But please remember, you need to use a bit of excess fat. Now, the forming of the Sheekh kebab. Wet your hand slightly, and I've got with me two skewers here, and I'm using an angeti here. If you don't have an angeti, obviously you can do it on a braai. And all you need to do is then put your kebab over your skewer, wet your hands a little, and flatten them. The process is quite easy, so if you are ever doing this, if you have all your ingredients ready, it's actually not a very time consuming process. The whole process and the cooking, the time required for the cooking is more in the preparation. I'm going to put this on here, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, and then get the next one going. I will be serving this with chips, and you know, usually when you get your chips done and ready, what I like to do is then just sprinkle it with olive oil and put it under the griller in the oven for a few minutes so that they become crispy and golden brown on the tips. That would be my second Sheekh kebab there. As you can see, it's quite an easy process. And yet, as I say, this is one of our favorite dishes. And you'll see it sizzling in a few minutes. there comes, you see the moisture and the fat from the kebab will actually start releasing now, and that's where you're going to get the smoke as the oil drops onto the coals. Just be careful if you are doing this. These Sheekhs become very hot, and you know where the name Sheekh kebab comes from. This is a Sheekh or a rod. Can you see how quickly it's cooking? And it's already browning. As I say, if you don't have one of these little gadgets at home, you can use your braai stand, and if you are using a braai stand, for the initial cooking, try and avoid direct contact onto the fire. Once the kebabs have formed, you can then actually remove them from the skewer and put them directly onto the fire. So while that's getting done, I'm going to take some chips here that I've already pre-cooked and add some olive oil to them from the top, and then put them into the oven to grill, just to become a nice golden brown. Preferably use an oven-proof dish or tray. You'll notice I've doused it quite nicely with the olive oil. I just need to give these a turn quickly before they start burning. Can you see how nicely it's browned and how quickly it's cooked? What you've seen actually is in real time. The advantage also of cooking it in this way is that it would remain moist on the inside. There we are, our kebabs are almost ready. There we go. I just want to keep a check on my chips as well. And while that's happening, I'm going to cut up some red onions, because this is a perfect accompaniment with your kebabs. Red onions and lemon juice, thinly sliced. I'm doing it in half moons. It makes it easier to eat as well. And then some lemon. There we are, my kebabs are ready. So I'm just going to take them off the fire. As I had mentioned earlier, that is what I wanted from my chips. They're just nicely grilling on the tips. I'm going to move them aside slightly to make space for the kebabs. Just be careful, because the oven dish is now quite hot. And then thereafter, I'll show you how we're going to serve it. But for now, that is your Sheekh kebabs served with chips. Do you notice the niceness of the mixture is that once they're cooked, the kebabs slide off quite easily. The other thing is the texture is right. There's no breaking or falling apart. It's all actually infused together with all the spices, the fat, and all the greens that have already been put and chopped in here. So that's all from us today. That's our Sheekh kebab served with oven grilled chips. So this is our presentation of Sheekh kebabs with oven grilled chips, and that comes to you from Papa D's in Fordsburg, Johannesburg, South Africa. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.